What is going on, everybody? I am back today to talk about a new movie that is on Apple TV Plus and available on VOD that I was actually really excited to watch. And for those of you out there who are first time on my channel, who have never watched one of my videos before, I went to school for film production for 5 years and I got my degree in moving image production. And it was so awesome to learn about filmmaking and to understand the technical side of filmmaking. And in one of my last years in school, I actually got to do a video conference with one of my classes where we did a Q&A with Lily Gladstone, and it was such an incredible experience. Lily is such a wonderful human being who really cares about the filmmaking industry, and it's been awesome to see her success with Killers of the Flower Moon, and I'm just always looking forward to seeing new projects with her. And I was really excited because when I was in film school before we did that Q&A, we actually watched the short film Little Chief, which is directed by Erica Tremblay, who directed this movie. So I was really excited to see a feature-length film from her because I really loved that short film. I thought it was incredibly impactful, had some really solid performances in it, and obviously Lily Gladstone was in that short film as well, so I was excited to see her in this full-length feature film, and I'm really excited to talk to you about this movie today. And the film I'm going to be discussing with you today is Fancy Dance. Fancy Dance is directed by Erica Tremblay. Following her sister's disappearance, Jax and her niece Roki must stick together. Desperate to keep what's left of their family intact, Jax and Roki defy the law and hit the road on a journey to the Grand Nation Powwow in Oklahoma City. So, as I said, I was very excited to watch this movie for multiple reasons, and I thought this movie was very solid. I do think that it has a few problems in the pacing and the storytelling that don't make it a perfect viewing experience, but I think this is a movie that is so incredibly important in its messaging and what it's trying to say that it's really easy to excuse any of the flaws that the movie has because of just how important this movie is and how these stories need to be told. And I'm really excited to tell you about this movie today. So at the beginning of the film, we are introduced to Jax, played by Lily Gladstone, and she is currently taking care of her niece Roki, played by Isabel DeRoy-Olson. And at the beginning of the movie, we actually see them steal from this person who's out fishing and steal their car and go sell it for money. So it's a really interesting way to start the movie. And we learn early on that Roki's mother, Jax's sister, has disappeared, and she's been gone for, I believe, 2 weeks when the movie starts. And Jax has been taking care of Roki. They all lived in the same house together, but she's disappeared. And we're introduced to all of these different people that live on the reservation. And through a certain set of circumstances, Child Protective Services becomes involved and says that Roki can no longer live with Jax because she has a criminal record and she's not allowed to watch over any kids, and that she's going to be placed in the custody of Jax's father, who she's not really close to anymore. And so when all of this happens, Jax gets incredibly distraught, but goes out to find new information about the disappearance of her sister. And through that, she decides, I'm going to go get Roki, and we are going to go on a road trip, and hopefully my sister will show up at this powwow that is occurring in Oklahoma City that is huge, that all of these indigenous people go to, and they're hoping that she'll show up there so that they can reunite together once more as a family. So as I said, I was really excited to watch this movie, and I thought that it was really solid. For starters, Lily Gladstone is just an incredible actress. I think that it's so cool to see her finally get some spotlight. She obviously had an Oscar nomination for her performance in Killers of the Flower Moon, and she is just one of those actresses who, no matter what she's doing, she commands the screen just with her facial expressions, her bodily movement. She's just such a talented actress, and it is so cool to see an indigenous woman who is getting the limelight. And it's so cool. I love seeing people from all different backgrounds and all different walks of life get that chance to shine. And so it was really cool to see her in this movie with a director that she's worked with before and give such a solid powerhouse performance. I really thought everyone involved in this movie did a really excellent job. The performances here are solid from start to finish. Everyone just really brings it their all. I feel like as far as the cinematography is concerned, there's some cool shot sequences in this movie. It's nothing like mind-blowing, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be for this type of story. There's a lot of handheld camera movements mixed with static camera movements. It makes the film feel more grounded, and it makes you feel more relatable to the characters. There's a lot of close-up shots so that you can hang on their expressions, especially Lily Gladstone Gladstone's character, who is dealing with a ton in this movie, with the disappearance of her sister, becoming the guardian to this child, also dealing with her own legal troubles, all of these things that she's going through in those moments. And the most important part of this movie is the themes that it explores. For starters, it showcases how the police treat when Indigenous women disappear or they've been murdered or anything has happened to Indigenous women. And for so long, people of color, Indigenous people, that whenever there are crimes against them, I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, a lot of police forces just push it completely out of the way and they don't put it at the forefront and they don't really take it seriously. And this movie really highlights those circumstances and how distraught Lily Gladstone's character gets, because she's like, how are you not taking this more seriously? How are you not spending time focusing on finding this person who has disappeared? All of that can be tied to, that not only is that her sister a person of color, but she also has been in drug trafficking before. She works at a strip club. There's all of these preconceived notions that people can have about her, and it's almost like diminishing her importance as a human being solely because of her lifestyle. And I think the movie conveys that in a really beautiful way and showcases it in a way that I think is really poignant and will move a lot of people. It also really kind of shows how messed up Child Protective Services is and how disgusting it is that it's like, oh, a family member's taking care of this kid and they're in the environment they're always in that they could thrive in the most, but because you have a criminal record, we're going to take her away from you and put her in the hands of people that don't even know her. And I just like, it just infuriates me when you think about the logic versus how the system actually executes it. And the movie does a really great job at painting that picture. And the chemistry between Jax and her niece Roki in this movie is phenomenal. It's very much, you can tell, a relationship that has existed, that has thrived for a long time, but obviously this young kid is very confused as to why her mother would just kind of disappear out of nowhere and just kind of leave her life. And then obviously there's police pressure when Jax takes Roki away from her father, Child Protective Services getting involved. And so it adds higher stakes to the movie, which makes it really easy to watch. I do think there are some pacing issues with the movie. There are some sequences that feel a little bit happenstance, where like the characters will get out of a situation and it feels kind of just like luck of the draw. And it doesn't really logically make sense that things would play out that way, but it's excusable, as I said, because of the subject matter of the film. It makes it easy to kind of excuse a lot of those issues. I also feel like some of the third act was a little bit unsatisfying in the direction that they went. I really loved the final sequence and thought that it was incredibly beautiful, but some of the lead up moments, I just didn't think they worked as well for me as they did for some other people. But as I said, despite those minimal gripes, I think this movie is saying something so incredibly important, and it has such a beautiful core with really amazing performances that I'm willing to excuse any little issues that I have with the movie and tell you that if you have an Apple TV subscription or you're looking for something on VOD to rent, this movie is totally worth your watch. It's an independent filmmaker bringing a very important story to the forefront, and I'm really looking forward to rewatching this movie again. So have you seen Fancy Dance? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I really enjoyed this movie. Despite the flaws that it has, I think it has such an important message, and it's totally worth your time. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.